Hi everyone, my name is Aleksandr Guzenko, and today I'm gonna talk about front-end architecture, in particular about splitting the monolith. But before we start, just a few words about myself. Um, I have more than 7 years of commercial experience in front-end development. Now I lead the development of a large fintech application, and recently I started talking about architecture, front-end architecture. And of course, this is a really complex theme, so it needs to reveal step by step. So today I'm gonna talk about problems of monolithic applications. Or maybe monolithic application doesn't have problems, so we'll talk about it today. Then I'll show you 6 ways how you can split your monolith to reduce complexity of your application to make it more modular. And after that, we will summarize and find out which method is best to use. So let's start. First of all, we need to understand the difference between two approaches, monolithic and microservices. When you use monolithic architecture, you are using a single module that works autonomously, independent of other application. For example, you have to-do list, and in web page, you will show only this to-do list. This to-do list stored in its own repo and deployed by its own. So this is a single module. Microservices approach is when you have several independent from each other, small, low couplet, and easily modified module. Just imagine the same to-do list, but at this web page, you also have footer and header. And footer and header is independent application, so we can deploy it independently of each other. So this is microservices approach. And one of the main questions of this speech, monolith, is it bad or no? To answer on this question, let's take a look at this chart. On the x-axis, we have the lines of code, which represents the size and complexity of our project. On the y-axis, we see the cost per line. This is development and maintenance. It means not just initial cost of writing line of code, but also maintaining it, updating it, and ensuring it remains functional and efficient in our growing application. Now there are two distinct curves here. The blue curve is microservices. This starts relatively flat but begins to rise gradually as the lines of code increase. In the early stages of the project, its cost might be higher due to the setup required for individual services. However, as the projects grow, the cost increases only gradually. This is because with microservices we can isolate problems, scale services independently, and deploy them separately. So complexity doesn't increase dramatically. The yellow curve is monolithic approach. Initially, it's pretty cost effective. Everything is in one place, and it's easy to manage. But as the lines of code increase, you can see a sharp uptick in the cost. This emblematic of the challenges in scaling and maintaining a monolithic application. As it grows, every change impacts the entire system, making it increasingly challenging to manage and update. In summary, While monolithic architecture might seem cost effective for small and medium projects, as application grows, the benefits of microservices architecture become apparent in terms of both development and maintenance cost. So, what we can see from this chart in summary. First point, monolith is not bad. It's a really good decision when you have small or medium application. And second, monolith is not bad until a certain point. And there is another main question, how to recognize this point after which microservices will be cost effective. Uh, to say the truth, it's a really subjective feeling. But I have four main triggers to recognize it. First one, it's long builds and CI pipelines. For example, your CI pipelines needs several hours. For example, 6 hours. It's too much. Uh, Second one, is rapidly increasing code base complexity, and because of this, increasing project entry threshold. For example, when you can efficiently onboard on your project only senior developers, it's a like a call. And last one, when more than 5 people working on the project. This is the most subjective point because I know project when, for example, 15 people working with it, and it's a really good in monolithic approach. But over time, this value may increase. And for just imagine you found all this trigger in your application and you decide to reduce your code complexity to split your monolith. How you can do it? Let's take a look at first way, and it is iframe. It is the oldest and the most time tested method. It was released in 1997, and it's kind of first implementation of front-end microservices from the last century. And now doesn't lose relevance, especially useful on simple sites, for example, landing page, when you need to embed some modules, for example, maps. Uh, Next way is using nginx or another proxy server. This is the most controversial and non-obvious way. It is implemented simply. Some pages of your application will be laid on a separate bundle with the help of proxy server and loaded as a separate application. Of course, there are many disadvantages here. There are drawdowns in performance. We load entire bundle again and again. The main advantages of single page application, we just lose it. And code duplication and something more. But there are cases when this approach makes sense to use. For example, when you move from one framework to another. The old pages will be within old application, and new pages with new application within another. Over time, the old application will lose pages, and the new one, on the contrary, will increase until the only one remains. Third way is using web components. This is a very interesting tool that allow us native use of the component approach. Uh, on this slide, you can see an example of using web components, and it's very similar to class components in React, doesn't it? Um, of course, there is have many advantages like full encapsulation of styles and logic. native browser support, and cross-platform. You can use it. You can create only one web component and using it inside React, Angular, Vue applications. But why didn't it get popular? Because we use React, Angular libraries and frameworks not only because of the component approach, but also because of their APIs like decorators, hooks, context, and etc. Moreover, popular frameworks have a large infrastructure and a wide market penetration. Uh, Next way to split your monolith is using npm, not a package manager. This method is the most common, and in most cases, it is the best for you. This approach is ideal as a first step before using microfrontends. Um, that is, you can first split application into several npm packages, and then turn these packages into independent frontends or microfrontends. With advantages, I can say of npm, it's disadvantages. Sorry, difficult to debugging. Uh, just imagine you want to log in console some value from your npm package. Uh, to do it, you need to add your code, create a build of this package, substitute this build in the host package, run host package, host application, and only after that you can see your output in console. Also, it's a complication of the release cycle. For example, you just need firstly to release your npm package. After that, you upgrade the version in your host package, in your host application, and only after that you can uh, deploy your host application. But there are many pros. There are many advantages of using Node Package Manager npm, like ease of implementation, versioning, and pipeline acceleration. You just don't need to run all tests in your every npm package when you deploy your host application. Uh, the last two methods are realization of microfrontends. The conception of microfrontends is shown on the screen. It's like it's when you can use different application inside a host one, and this different application may be written on different frameworks using different libraries and deployed independently. So single SPA or single SPA, it's a kind of realization of micro frontends, and this approach has several peculiarities. First one, single SPA has a container within which we register application and can use them as a separate independent application within a single page. It also allows us to use application lifecycle method like loaded, mount, unmount, and it also allows us to set a config that will control which routers, which applications should be loaded on. And the last one is a webpack 5 module federation. Yeah, you can use this method only within webpack 5. Even you are using webpack 4 on your project, you couldn't use a module federation plugin. So this is you should to know before choosing this way. Also, using module federation, you can cache libraries. So you don't need to load, for example, React 10 times if you use a 10 React application. Each application has its own entry point in which we say what it exports. It's like a realization of public API, which is a really good pattern, design pattern. And unlike a single spot, it allows us to use not only the entire application but also its modules. For example, you can use only selectors from another applications, not a whole application, only selectors. And let's summarize all these 6 ways to split your monolith, and where you can choose each other. Uh, Choose them. Uh, let's start with iframe. Iframe is really good when you need to embed a model into a site without using heavy frameworks. For example, to embed maps, map module on your landing, or composition of several simple application. For example, you have independent sidebar with several links, and you can use just iframe tag to embed it on your application, even if your application is really complex. Proxy server is good in transition period from one framework to another, or and if you don't want to bother with microfrontends, and you're ready to sacrifice performance in a short of time. Web components are good for you with if you don't have binding to the infrastructure of any framework, or you don't want to make you want to make a cross-platform components. For example, UI kit for entire company. NPM is a great decision if you want to reduce your code base and you don't want to bother with micro frontends. And what about micro frontends? Single spa. It's a good decision when you need to combine several applications on different frameworks, or you want to get involved in the application lifecycle, like mounted, unmounted, loaded, and etc. Or you want to link application to a specific URL. For example, on one URL we load this application, on another URL we load another application. And the last method is using model federation in webpack 5. This is a great decision when you want to optimize the bundle size. For example, do not load or React for every application if your application using React, and you use webpack 5. So that's all for now. I hope this information will help you write efficient and maintainable code. And have a good day. Bye.